It's Frank Radice again. We're here at CES 2013 from the Red Touch Media booth, and I'm with Rohit Bhargava, who is a marketer and the author of a pretty well-known book out there for you social media people. It's called Likeonomics. Tell me about the book.
Yeah, the book is pretty simple. It's about why we do business with people that we like and why we need to build more likable businesses and why likable people tend to succeed more often than unlikable people.
That's pretty much what being social is all about, I guess.
Yeah, it is, and I think that a lot of times it's sort of easy to forget in that realm of other things that we learn. So like one of the things that we often learn is if we just had better ideas, if we just get a better skill set, if we get the right degree, then all of these positive things will happen for us. And actually, in reality, that's not really the way the world works, right? The way the world works is we choose who we want to work with. And yes, you need a certain level of skill, but above that, people decide based on something else. And so I really wanted to write about the something else. What is that?
Is there any something else that sort of supersedes all of the something else's? Is it innovation? Is it heart and soul? What is there something that pops more than anything else?
I think that's actually really what the book comes down to, that the something else that pops beyond everything else is personal relationship. That if you and I have a personal relationship, you're going to choose to do more with me. And if that happens, we end up working together more, I end up making more money, you end up making more money, we're all happier, nobody has these negative, dramatic kind of situations. I mean, all of this sort of positivity, whether it comes down to making more money and getting better clients or just having a more positive life, comes down to surrounding yourself with people who you want to have relationships with.
Lou Wasserman said, I'm not powerful, I just have relationships.
Yeah, and I think that if you look at any industry, whether it's the sort of cliche of the deals being done on the golf course, all the way through to politics and how anything gets passed in politics, it all comes down to who knows who's able to get the deal done by giving something to someone else. It's sort of in Asia at least, they have a way of describing it. They describe it as saving face, and everybody knows that personal reputation is a key element of why people make decisions. And here, I think in the US, I think we kind of bury that a little bit, and we don't necessarily acknowledge it in the same way, even though that behavior is totally the same.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's funny. I've often thought about that. I spend a lot of my time overseas, and it is clearly a cultural difference.
It is, and I think that when you respect that, and one of the big challenges I think for people leaving their own culture and going somewhere else is what traits are universal and what traits are sort of my own traits. Like I lived 5 years in Australia, and one of the things I had to unlearn was this idea of public recognition. I was used to that. I expected it as a way of getting a reward for doing a good job. And in Australia, that doesn't really work that way. And I had that situation where I was waiting for some sort of pat on the back that was never really going to happen because they knew I did my work and I knew I did it, and that was enough.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about CES 2013. Have you been able to walk around the floor and see some of the stuff that's out there right now? And do you see any trends?
Yeah, I've walked around a little bit. I think that some of the things that most people will probably hear about is very related to either bigger smartphones, bigger TVs, everything's bigger. Phablets, right? Everything's got to have a buzzword too, by the way. Yeah, it's very necessary. Hey, we're in marketing, we know, right? One of the things that I find really interesting, though, about the technology is that there are more ways now to put technology into the place that you want it to be. So, just to give you an example, I went into the Whirlpool booth, and Smart homes, but one of the things that they had as kind of a fundamental concept, which I thought was really interesting, was this idea that your fridge is this big box in your kitchen, and we make an assumption that everything needs to be the same temperature because it all goes in the fridge. And part of that concept was, what if they could take out individual things? What if they could take fruit, which actually needs higher humidity and less cooling, put that into a separate box? What if they could take bread, for example, and put that into a different box that doesn't really need that much cooling? And so now you start to remove these things, and all of a sudden you can take elements of your fridge and put them in different parts of your home.
It's funny. What struck me as you were saying that was, geez, that's your life.
Yeah, that's your life, and it's part of how you decorate your home as opposed to just an appliance. And I think that vision of technology being a part of your living style as opposed to an appliance it is where the future is headed. Whether you talk about a smartphone or a television or a fridge, the concepts that we're seeing now are really that much more integrated, be part of your life rather than here's the box over here, here's the thing over there.
Remember that. Rohit Bhargava, marketer, author. This is Frank Radice, CES 2013 from the Red Touch Media booth. See you later.